The United States is ecstatic over Ukraine's incursion into Russia's Kursk region. President Joe Biden proudly told reporters that their attack had created a quote-unquote real dilemma for Putin. Meanwhile, neocon blowhard Lindsey Graham praised it as a brilliant and bold operation. Despite the euphoria, however, the White House and Pentagon are simultaneously trying to distance themselves from the incursion, telling reporters that the U.S. didn't play any role in planning the operation and wasn't even consulted beforehand. Today, we're going to fact-check this claim and provide you with concrete evidence of U.S. involvement in Ukraine's Kursk incursion. Let's start with a basic question. Did the U.S. know about Ukraine's plans to attack Kursk ahead of time? To answer this question, we need to establish some key facts. First of all, the CIA has a massive presence in Ukraine. An explosive New York Times report published earlier this year revealed that the CIA has 12 forward operating bases along Ukraine's border with Russia. Additionally, the United States has extensive satellite coverage of Ukraine, allowing them to keep track of troop movements and buildups. So in other words, the United States has detailed information about what's happening in the Russia-Ukraine border from multiple sources. Do you really think they were completely unaware that Ukraine was amassing brigades and large amounts of equipment near Kursk? Do you really think that none of the CIA sources had any advanced knowledge of this incursion? For argument's sake, let's assume that the US intel community was totally clueless about Kursk, implausible as that may be. What can be disputed, however, is the fact that Ukraine is attacking Kursk with American weapons. Ukrainian troops in Kursk have been spotted driving US-supplied Stryker, Bradley, Max Pro, and Cougar H armored vehicles. The Ukrainians have also used American HIMARS rocket launchers and Switchblade drones to strike various targets in Kursk. Some of these weapons are being used to commit war crimes. For example, in the following video, you can see Ukrainian troops in a Stryker vehicle, which is hiding in the forest, gunning down a civilian car trying to flee the area. This means that, like it or not, Biden is a direct accomplice in Ukraine's atrocities against Russian civilians in Kursk. The Biden administration will obviously try to claim plausible deniability. After all, they simply gave the Ukrainians weapons. How the Ukrainians then decide to use these weapons is a totally separate matter, right? Well, not exactly. We already established that the Ukrainians are using HIMARS launchers for attacks on Kursk. HIMARS is a high-precision weapon system that requires accurate reconnaissance data from satellites. Ukraine doesn't have those, so it has to rely on the United States for satellite data. This is hardly a secret for anyone. Last year, the Washington Post revealed that Ukrainian forces almost never launch HIMARS rounds without detailed coordinates provided by the Americans. Why is this important? It matters because it means that the United States is directly involved in all HIMARS missile strikes in Kursk. The United States is effectively helping Ukraine attack Russian soil. This raises the question of what comes next. Over the past week, new reports have emerged that the Biden administration is open to providing Ukraine with JSSAM cruise missiles, which have a range of 370 kilometers if launched from an F-16 fighter jet. If you can read between the lines, this suggests that the Biden administration is preparing to escalate Ukrainian attacks on Russian soil. Why else would they consider providing such a long-range missile to Ukraine if that was not the objective? The Biden administration seems to think that it can keep going up the escalation ladder with no real consequences. This is a big mistake. Russia obviously doesn't want war with the West, which is why it has shown remarkable restraint throughout this conflict. But Biden is doing everything humanly possible to push Russia to the brink of war. Biden only has 5 months left in office, but that's more than enough time to drag the United States and all of NATO into an epic geopolitical disaster. In fact, it may already be too late.